You bought the bottle. The $38 one with the racing stripe on the label and the word professional right above the barcode. Maybe the $24 version. Maybe the $15 one that the guy at the auto parts store told you was just as good as the expensive brand. And your car looked clean. It really did. But there's a detail on the back of that bottle that almost no one reads. Something hidden in plain sight in the ingredient list that has been slowly undoing something you paid a lot of money to protect. And there is a recipe, 400 years old, 17 cents per wash, that does not do that. And once you understand the chemistry behind it, you will never buy a car wash soap again. Here is what is actually happening every time you wash your car with a commercial product. The primary cleaning agent in almost every commercial car wash soap on the market is sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS. It is a petroleum-derived surfactant. Its job is to cut grease by disrupting molecular bonds on whatever surface it contacts. On dishes, that is fine. On your skin, it is slightly drying. On your car, on the wax layer you applied, or the sealant, or the ceramic coating you paid $200 to have professionally installed, it is slowly dissolving it. Every single wash. Not catastrophically, just consistently. Wash after wash, car wax degrades, spray sealants thin out. Ceramic coatings lose their hydrophobic layer. SLS accelerates all of it. The detailing industry understands this perfectly. The solution they sell you is a second product. Wax restorer, sealant spray, coating maintenance formula. You buy the soap that strips the protection, and then you buy the product to restore it. They make money twice. Now here's the thing that changes the math entirely. Castile soap, named after the Castile region of Spain, formulated from olive oil, coconut oil, or a blend of both, saponified with water and lye. It has been used to clean ships, tools, leather, and fabric since the 15th century. It is sitting on the shelf at your grocery store right now for around $15 a quart. That quart makes 50 washes. This is not a specialty product or a health food store item. It has been a household staple in Europe for over 600 years. The North American market replaced it with petroleum chemistry in the 20th century and charged more for the replacement. That is 30 cents a wash. But here is where it gets genuinely interesting, and why this is not simply about being cheaper. Castile soap does not use ionic surfactants. It uses saponins, naturally occurring plant-based molecules that surround dirt particles and suspend them in rinse water without disrupting the surface underneath. The chemistry is fundamentally different. Your wax layer does not care that you washed the car. It is still there, intact, doing its job after every single wash. You do not need to reapply. You do not need the restorer. The protection you put on stays on. There's one ingredient to add, and this is the part that most people miss. Glycerin, available at any pharmacy for about $5 for 8 ounces. 1 teaspoon added to your wash bucket creates a microscopic lubricating layer between your wash mitt and the clear coat. That is the actual mechanism behind every detail spray and lubrication additive in the detailing aisle. Glycerin, pennies of glycerin in a $30 bottle with a different label on it. Here is the full recipe. 1 gallon of warm water, 2 tablespoons of unscented Castile soap. Dr. Bronner's is the most widely available, but any pure Castile formula will work. 1 teaspoon of vegetable glycerin. Mix it in your wash bucket before you dip the mitt. Use 2 buckets, 1 for the wash solution, 1 for rinsing the mitt between each panel pass. Every time you drag an unrinsed mitt back across the clear coat, you're carrying the dirt particles you just lifted right back onto the paint. That mechanical abrasion is where most wash scratches actually come from. The Castile formula removes the chemical risk. The 2 buckets remove the physical one. For heavily contaminated vehicles, road tar, bug protein, heavy road grime, add a 1/3 tablespoon of soap. For boats and RVs, double the recipe. The ratios stay the same at any scale. Now, before you take this outside, there is one thing to know if you live in a hard water area. And I am not going to skip this because it is the detail that causes people to blame the soap when the actual problem is the water. In areas with high mineral content, calcium, magnesium, dissolved limestone, Castile soap can react with those minerals on contact and leave a faint white film on the surface as it dries. Not damage, not a stain, but it dulls the finish temporarily. The fix takes about 4 seconds. Add 1 tablespoon of plain white distilled vinegar to your final rinse bucket only, not the wash bucket. You never mix vinegar directly with Castile soap. They neutralize each other and you lose the cleaning action entirely. Separate bucket, final rinse. The vinegar chelates the minerals before they can set. That is it. Problem gone. Now here is what most people who find this formula never think to try next. The exact same 2 tablespoon recipe works on every exterior surface you own. Boats, RVs, motorcycles, trailers, ATVs. On boat hulls, the saponin chemistry dissolves salt deposits the same way it dissolves road grime. without lifting the bottom paint or oxidizing gel coat the way chlorinated cleaners do. On RV awnings, vinyl, or fabric, it cleans without the bleaching effect that commercial awning cleaners leave behind after a season. One bucket, every surface, same ratios. The glycerin has a second use that the detailing industry does not advertise. Applied straight, undiluted, with a microfiber cloth, to dry tires after a wash, it is a tire dressing that lasts 2 to 3 weeks. It restores deep black without the greasy sling-off you get from silicone-based spray products. The professional tire gel you see in detailing shops for $12 to $18 is primarily glycerin and a polymer thickener. The polymer prevents dripping during application. The glycerin does the actual work. You already have it in your bucket. And then there's the interior. And this is the part that explains something almost everyone has noticed but never understood. Drop the ratio down to 1 tablespoon of Castile soap per quart of warm water. Lighter mix, same chemistry. Apply it with a stiff scrub brush to fabric seats, floor mats, and fabric headliners. Commercial fabric cleaners are alkaline detergent formulas that bond to fabric fibers during the clean and do not fully rinse out. That residue is what makes your seats feel stiff after cleaning, and it is why your interior attracts dirt again within a week of a full detail. You cleaned the surface and left behind a chemical layer that acts like a magnet for everything airborne. Saponins do not bond to fabric. They surround the particles, lift them, and release them completely into the rinse water. The seat comes out softer after cleaning, not stiffer, because there is nothing left behind in the weave. No residue, no reattraction cycle. The clean actually holds, no streaking, no film, safe on wax, ceramic coatings, vinyl wraps, and painted plastic trim. And when it runs off your driveway into the storm drain, it fully biodegrades within days. Sodium lauryl sulfate does not. It accumulates in waterways and is acutely toxic to aquatic organisms at low concentrations. That is from Environment Canada's 2010 ecological screening assessment. It does not break down quickly. It does not disappear. Every commercial wash you have done over the last decade contributed to that accumulation. Now, here's the part I did not expect when I first started testing this. The finish is actually better. Not equivalent, better. The intact wax layer underneath is doing its full job. Water sheets off properly, the surface has real depth, and there is no SLS residue dulling the clear coat from the outside in. On black paint especially, where every micro scratch shows in direct sunlight, the glycerin lubrication layer makes a visible difference. You are looking at actual paint, not product buildup sitting on top of it. 1 quart of Castile soap and a small bottle of glycerin runs about $18 at a grocery store. That covers 60 washes. A $30 specialty car soap covers 15 to 20 washes at roughly $2 each. Same number of clean cars, roughly 6 times the cost. And your wax protection has been dissolving the entire time. This is not a complicated fix. It is knowing what the label was never going to tell you. Share this with someone who needs it, and I will see you in the next one.